Hello football! Today let's talk about La Liga, about your beloved La Liga, which you asked us to talk about a long time ago. Let's talk specifically about the first four places and try to answer the question, how will this season in La Liga end most likely? Because you see for yourself, the competition there is simply crazy. We will not go below the first four positions, only the first four lines we will try to distribute and predict. Let me remind you that at the very beginning of the season we made expectations for the upcoming season, and our expectations was like this. In the first place Barcelona, on the second Atletico, on the third Real, and on the fourth Sevilla. And in general the season may end this way, but this is not accurate, so let's talk about everything in more detailed way. So first, let's assess the situation. Four teams went into the lead at the end of the championship. Between the fourth and fifth places there is a gap of almost 20 points, so even theoretically it's just impossible that someone else can break into the top four. Until the end of the championship there is absolutely nothing left, only 3 rounds left, and only Sevilla has 4 rounds to play in. And theoretically any of the teams can finish on the first place. That is just crazy. There hasn't been such a thing in La Liga for a long time. It's interesting to watch. So let's talk a little more about the schedule, lineups, injuries, stability, performance, etc. And of course let's start with Atletico. Remember, not long ago they were separated from everyone by as much as 10 points, plus there was even a match in reserve, but in 2 months they safely and consciously poured the whole thing down the toilet. It all started with the fact that in 2 games with Levante they lost 5 points. Then, hell with it, there was a draw with Real Madrid and a defeat for Sevilla, but they had to win Getafe, Betis and Atletico Bilbao. And the worst thing is that there is a match against Barcelona ahead of them, and Barcelona will host Atletico at home. And as you remember, in the first round, for the first time in a long distance, Atletico finally won in match with Barcelona. But here it's necessary to take into account how raw Barcelona was at that time. Koeman had not yet groped either the scheme or the composition, the interaction between the players was incomprehensible, the team was in such a state that the president is known, the future of the club is unknown, it's not known whether Messi will remain, and so on. That is, then Barcelona was not at all like that, especially from the point of view of moral readiness. The team was drooping. But now everything is fine. The team felt the composition, the scheme. Koeman generally does wonderful things and pleasantly surprises. They decided on the president. Messi seems to be breaking up. That is, Barca has much more chances. So I think in their face-to-face confrontation, Barca will definitely not lose. Atletico has no problems with players' injuries, which is good, but the attacking players finally died out at the end of the season. Suarez, after returning, even at the gate of Elche, cannot hit. Feliz has not received practice since mid-March, Dembele has not joined the game, and as a result, in the last 17 games of Atletico, they have scored more than 2 goals only once. That's terrible. And Barca, just in this new configuration, as we have seen in the last few matches, on the contrary, they do not concede more than 2 goals. That is, everything is in this face-to-face confrontation with Atletico. So I repeat, I think that Barcelona will definitely not lose. Of course, I will root for Atletico, so that in the end they become the champion, because it would be cooler, much cooler than Barca or Real Madrid are the champions again. But still, the chances are certainly not enough. Next, we have Real Madrid, where Zidane works magic at the end of the season and squeezes everything out of the team. They have already passed the most difficult period of the season, where there were matches with Barca and Liverpool. They went well, but then they somehow took and stalled against Betis and Getafe. And in general, I think you can see everything yourself. It seems that there are no serious problems with the defense, even when the main central defenders are injured. It seems like the team still holds the blow, but creates very few chances if one of the opponents is deeply defended. In this case, even if this is some kind of a middle team, Real has a problem if someone does not pull out on individual skills somewhere. In a recent match, who should drag the team? There are all sorts of Casemiro, defenders on the standards and so on. Well, there shouldn't be this way. And even more so, the calendar of the Real Madrid is simply awful. Of all these four teams, of your participants of this issue, the Real has perhaps the most difficult calendar. Now I will explain why. Firstly, Real is still in the Champions League and the return match will be in London and this trip is energy consuming. Then, in 4 days, there will be a match with Sevilla, which on the contrary shows the most stable game of all our today's teams. And what is even more interesting, a little later Real Madrid will have a guest meeting with Atletico, one of the most inconvenient teams for the opponents from the top. By the way, they have already beaten Real Madrid in the Super Cup. Well, in addition, Vasquez dropped out until the end of the season, Carvajal was injured again, and Sergio Ramos is after the injury. Well, it is not known how he will show himself. Therefore, to be honest, I do not count on much from Real, although on the other hand, if you look at that magic and remember what Zinedine Zidane did in this difficult period when he played against Liverpool, I mean the Barcelona-Liverpool match, well, if suddenly he still has chakra, I don't know, mana, so what? What does he produce there on his bald bowler hat, if he still has it? I won't be surprised if he takes both La Liga and also the Champions League in addition to dessert. Well, and Barcelona, what we have there on it? Koeman found a working scheme, finally selected the optimal squad without Dembele. The team creates a lot of chances against any rivals. It would seem that everything is fine, but at the same time they take and drain Granada somehow. Of course, Granada rebounded, this is understandable, but all the same, at such an important moment, at such an important segment of the season, well, you already have nothing but La Liga, and already here it is, the finish line, and so ugly to merge this match, although they could already to gain a foothold in the first place and feel comfortable. No, we want more pressure. Here you have it. At least we played confidently with Valencia, took the victory. Well, but with Atletico we will have to try hard so well, although, as I said before, they initially had a chance more than Atletico. Firstly, Barca plays at home. Secondly, there are no significant injuries. In the third, Atletico has not played against such a variation of Barca. Well, in the fourth, Atletico scores little. And the Catalans, on the other hand, have scored more than 3 in 5 of their last 9 matches. Well, Barca's calendar is the lightest of all our participating teams. Who will be there? Levante, Celta and Eibar. What's the point to afraid of them? Smolov is no longer there, so everything is fine. Barca has more chances, I repeat, more than the rest. But finally, Sevilla, what we have there? Out of 4 teams, they are the most confident in the table. There will be only one terrible match ahead. This is against Real, which will be exhausted as much as possible, so this is a great chance for Sevilla to prove themselves. Remember the game of the first round. Was Sevilla worse then? No, by no means. They played great on equal terms, just a little unlucky, but here the situation is even more favorable. Real will be exhausted as much as possible. The only opponent which I think may even be more unpleasant and more difficult than Real Madrid, this is the next meeting with Athletic Bilbao. Here they are a really unpleasant team and it will be difficult to pick up points from them, but if Sevilla succeeds in both Athletic Bilbao and Real Madrid matches, they can easily jump into second place instantly, and there it's a stone throw from the first place. So, my friends, let's summarize. I think that Barca has the greatest chances for the championship now, and the main thing is not to lose to Atletico in the next match. The Atletico and Real Madrid have severe problems in attack and therefore they will hardly end the season without mistakes. Well, I will just root for Sevilla. In short, you understand everything. We stick to our initial forecast, which we gave at the very beginning of the season. That is, Barca will finish in first, Atletico second, Real Madrid third, Sevilla fourth. There is an assumption that it may not end this way, but I want to hope and believe that then, long ago, at the very beginning of the season, we were right, so we'll see. By the way, about Serie A, many hated us that we put Inter in the first place. But look, Inter is already a champion, early champion, that's like that. Of course, how places will be allocated in the future, it's still unknown. For now, I know you like it, so give me a like and goodbye.